one-on-one with Congressman Addison McDowell about it all earlier today. Here's our conversation. Well, Congressman, appreciate you making time.
You got it.
So a busy night for you on Tuesday, getting through the Republican budget framework narrowly, but did get it through. Just for our viewers who aren't following this, it's a $4.5 trillion in tax breaks is what it calls for, $2 billion in spending cuts. Let me just start, because Democrats have put a lot of attention on concerns that this would mean cuts to Medicaid. They say you can't get to the spending cuts without cutting Medicaid. Real quick, do you believe there should be any cuts to Medicaid in this?
Well, first of all, the word Medicaid comes up nowhere in that bill, not once. This is not a health care bill, it's a budget bill. The Democrats have tried to paint it into a health care bill, and they're using these old political lines that they always do. But this isn't a health care bill, it's a budget bill. But to your question, look, if Medicaid is experiencing fraud, waste, and abuse at the levels that we think that it is, absolutely we need to go after those people on Medicaid. Now, we don't want to hurt the people that need it, but if there are people that don't need Medicaid, that are taking advantage of our government, absolutely we should try to find savings there.
Okay, because we heard the speaker say last night in an interview that they wouldn't be doing cuts to Medicaid. Maybe they would be looking at work requirements.
Sure.
But you seem to be leaving open the door to potential cuts to Medicaid?
We're looking for savings, and if we can find savings through work requirements and things like that, that's what we should do. We don't want to harm people that need the program. But if you don't need the program, then you shouldn't be taking advantage of our taxpayer dollars.
Where else do you think those cuts can be found?
Well, I mean, it depends. There's 10 committees that are going to be looking at where to find savings at. And so they're going to come from things like the Biden Green New Deal type of policies that we can repeal and find savings there. But this is a bill that secures our border. It opens up the framework to do that. It allows for that to begin. And to your point on tax breaks, this is extending the tax cuts under President Trump in his first term. It's not, we're hearing a lot of lines from the Democrats on this is tax breaks for the rich. No, this is extending tax cuts that help the middle class. That's what we're trying to do, and that's exactly what this bill sets the stage for us to be able to do.
You were on the Budget Committee. Now, obviously there's a lot of work still to go on this in the House, but when you look at in the Senate, we're already seeing some concerns from some Senate Republicans. What path does this potentially have in the Senate?
Well, this bill at its core is us implementing President Trump's America First agenda. And I think that the Senate should get on board with that. But look, the big debate here in Washington has been, do we do it in one bill or two bills? I don't care if it's a million bills. We need to get to work on what the American people elected us to do, and that's what this bill does. Now, I hope that the Senate can agree we should secure our border and we should rebuild the economy that was broken over the last 4 years, but I hope they can get there, but the House is ready to work, and we've shown that on Tuesday night.
Let me turn to Elon Musk. We saw him at the cabinet meeting at the White House yesterday, and the focus on DOGE. Do you have any concerns with how the firings of federal workers have been handled across the country in recent weeks?
Well, look, I feel for anybody that loses their job, but what DOGE and Elon Musk are doing is they're looking for people that are not doing their job, that are doing the job of three people doing the job of one person, things like that we can cut because we don't have the money. The federal government has spent so much money that we can no longer afford to pay these people without borrowing the money. And so I support 100% what Elon Musk and what the DOGE team are doing, because we have to find savings somewhere, and they're going after it and finding it.
To our viewers who haven't been following this as closely as you and I have, over the weekend, Elon Musk did send an email to every federal employee asking them to reply with approximately 5 bullets of what they accomplished last week, and to CC their manager. He gave them a deadline of Monday night. Now, what was not in that email was what he tweeted, which was that a failure to respond to the email would be taken as a resignation. Again, that tweet wasn't in the email. You've got around 10,000 federal workers in your district. Do you worry that email created a lot of confusion among these workers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it might have created some confusion, but what I think that Elon was doing, which is a much needed thing, is saying, okay, if you're a federal employee and you get an email, but you haven't accessed your email address in, however long, you don't check your email address, that's a problem. If you don't know the password to log into your government email address to do your job, that's a problem. The people that in North Carolina, they're doing a great job working for a federal government, we don't want to take their job away. But if there are people that are working a job and not doing the job, then they should absolutely be terminated.
And look, I mean, in the private sector and in the public sector, it is very normal to tell your supervisor what you did the past week, what you did the past month, your accomplishments and things like that. Do you worry though, when you talk about, when you throw out the word resignation, when you talk about that confusion level, that sort of disrespects some of the federal workers out there? I wonder how you would have felt if you'd gotten an email like that.
Yeah, well, I think at the end of the day, what DOGE is trying to do is weed out fraud, waste, and abuse in our government because we have to. We have been robbing Peter to pay Paul for far too long, and we have spent and spent and spent. And what our bill did on Tuesday is it acknowledged, okay, we have spent too much money. We need to start finding savings where we can, because we have a bloated federal government that we need to get under control. And so that's what DOGE is trying to do. I realize that they're coming at this with a sledgehammer and a blowtorch, but the federal government is massive. There's a massive level of waste, fraud, and abuse that they're looking for, and I have their back when they try to find it.
One more question on this, because their president ran on making a lot of cuts to the federal government. That should come as no surprise, but I think some people may have thought they will come over time as you vet out what is working, what is not working, where there might be waste. Were these cuts, some of these cuts, put in place too quickly?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that the president has done a great job hitting the ground running, doing everything that he said he was going to do. We ran on this, the president ran on this. We're going to find waste, we're going to find fraud, we're going to find abuse.
Congressman, keep us updated on this budget framework. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course, Ruben, thanks.